Today, we will delve into the viewpoints of 11 philosophers who have explored this complex topic of the self. Each one of them provides a different insights, yet there is no significant similarity, leaving us with the question, what's so hard about coming up with the right answer?
Let's start with Socrates, the original philosopher from ancient Greece. He didn't write anything down but had a huge impact on Western thought. His philosophy was all about self-examination, famously stating, "The unexamined life is not worth living." For Socrates, the self was the soul, which he saw as eternal and central to human identity. His Socratic method involved questioning people to reveal their ignorance and lead them closer to the truth.
An unexamined life is not worth living.
Next, his student Plato expanded on these ideas with his theory of forms. He divided the self into three parts: the appetitive, which is the desires; spirited, the courage; and rational, the logic. Plato believed that rational part should control the others, likening it to a charioteer guiding two wild horses. For him, the self was the soul striving to understand eternal truths beyond the physical world.
The talking of the soul with itself.
Jumping forward, Saint Augustine blended Plato's idea with Christian theology. He saw the self as both soul and body created by God. Augustine believed self-knowledge was key to understanding one's relationship with God and achieving true happiness.
All knowledge leads to God.
Then, there's René Descartes, often called the father of modern philosophy. He is known for cogito ergo sum, or I think, therefore I am. Descartes believed the self was a thinking mind, separated from the body. If you can doubt everything, the very act of doubting proves you exist.
I think, therefore I am.
John Locke offered a different view, suggesting that the self is tied to memory. He believed our identity persists through time because we can remember our past actions, and this continuity defines us.
Human mind at birth is a tabula rasa, which means that knowledge is derived from experience.
David Hume, however, argued there's no fixed self at all. He saw the self as just a bundle of perceptions, a constant flow of experiences with core identity.
All knowledge is derived from human senses.
Immanuel Kant shifted the focus, claiming the self isn't something we experience directly, but rather what organizes all our experiences. He distinguished between the inner self, which is the thoughts and feelings, and the outer self, the sensory experiences.
Is the final authority of morality. Morality is achieved only when there is absence of war because of result of enlightenment.
In psychology, Sigmund Freud broke down the mind into three parts: the id, which is the desires; the ego, reality; and the superego, the morality. For Freud, the self was a battleground between these forces, constantly seeking balance.
Where it was, their ego shall be.
Gilbert Ryle rejected Descartes' dualism, calling it the goat and the machine fallacy. He argued that the self isn't hidden inside us, it is defined by our actions and behavior.
I act, therefore I am.
Modern philosopher Paul Churchland introduced eliminative materialism, which denies the existence of the self as we traditionally understand it. For Churchland, the self is just a brain activity.
Our way of thinking can be explained by neuroscience.
Finally, Maurice Merleau-Ponty emphasizes the role of the body in defining the self. He believed that our sensory experiences and bodily existence create our consciousness.
Physical body is an important part of the self.
And there you have it, 11 philosophers with 11 different takes on the self.